All right, so guys, we have an incredible lineup of three field leaders today who are doing unbelievable things in the business. Two SEVCs, Charity Ano, and the newest Senior Executive Vice Chairman in WFG, Nima Attar, and CEO MD, Landon Ford. So we've got two Canadians, one US leader, and they're going to pour into you and really talk to you all about the importance and how they maintain momentum throughout their hierarchies, coming out of that record-breaking third quarter, closing this year strong, and charging into 2026, maintaining and building upon that incredible momentum. And talking about momentum, look at some of these records that you and your teams made possible in the third quarter, right? We just want to say, first and foremost, thank you for all that you're doing to serve families. Total commission revenue in the third quarter, an all-time WFG record, $355 million, 92,500 life license agents, $293 million in VA and RILA sales, $1.3 billion in total annuity sales across the USA and Canada, 52.6 million in Transamerica Life submits in the month of September, and also in the month of September, total life sales of $69 million. All six of those statistics are all-time WFG records, a company that traces its roots back really nearly 40 years, but we will celebrate officially our 25-year anniversary as a company next year. And then you see some near records over there on the right side of the slide. Second highest sales quarter ever for U.S. fixed annuities at 693 million. 325 million in Canada, second highest ever sales quarter for seg funds. 191 million, third highest ever sales quarter ever in total life sales across both countries. Just phenomenal, the momentum that our field force has created right now. And the personal activity bonus is still out there through the end of this year. These are the requirements. It's a monthly bonus open to all agents. You see the requirements to qualify: 10,000 personal agency net points, one personal recruit, and a rolling 3-month personal agency NPR of 75% or greater. And of course, those bonus payouts for the training agents through marketing director are 10% bonuses to their personal commissions with no cap. And for SMDs and above, a 5% bonus to their personal commissions up to $1,000. And we have a whole bunch of folks that have taken advantage of this powerful personal production program. In the US, we're closing in on 10,000 qualification payouts and more than $7 million paid out year to date. In Canada, closing in on 6,000 qualifiers who have earned more than $4.2 million. So please make sure that you, your downlines, your sidelines, all your teammates are taking part in the personal activity bonus and leveraging this as they go out and do what they should be doing anyways, to protect families and make sure that no families left behind. Also want to make sure you guys know that the Q3 quarterly base shop qualifiers are now posted. Congratulations to all 457 leaders who earned a bonus. These are now posted out on MyWFG. We want to make sure that we continue to build strong momentum. A strong base shop generates strong downlines that become strong SMDs and go on to do great things in our business. So we want to make sure we're certainly recognizing the big base shops across the company. And then the stock-based cash award program, this is a calendar year qualification. So I want to make sure as we close in on December 31st that you're paying attention to where you're at. And if you're close to qualifying, that you make that extra push. It is a new 2-tiered qualification system for the stock-based cash award program. The brochure and frequently asked questions document, of course, are out on MyWFG. But as a reminder, the Tier 1 qualifications at Marketing Director, you can earn a target grant of $750 with a rolling 12 cash flow of $50,000 in the calendar year, all the way up to $1.5 million at Tier 1 for SEVC, earning a grant of $20,000. And then the Tier 2 qualifications that we introduced at the kickoff meeting at the beginning of this year, marketing directors that achieve $80,000 in rolling 12 cash flow this calendar year will get a grant of $1,200, all the way up to a maximum possible grant of $30,000 for SEVCs with a cash flow of $2.5 million. So make sure you're fighting for that. And then trustworthy selling. We talk a lot here about the WFG way, always trying to do what we can to invest in our agents, make sure that you have the confidence and the understanding of serving clients across the kitchen table. Trustworthy selling is really the industry standard out there for putting clients first and focusing on needs-based selling. It allows agents to understand buyer and seller psychology, to ask the right questions across from clients, to make sure you're uncovering those product needs. So if you haven't checked out Trustworthy Selling, I'd encourage you to do so. It is available at no cost to all WFG agents on the MyWFG Training Center. This is a curriculum developed by Hoopus Performance Network and LIMRA, the Life Insurance Marketing Research Association. And as I said, an award-winning training curriculum used by many of the biggest insurance companies across the industry. And when they've done ROI studies and compared agents that use this Trustworthy Selling curriculum to those that haven't, The statistics are very powerful in terms of 20-30% plus growth in average face amount, policy sold, things like that. So we want to make sure we're investing in you and giving you the tools and resources you need as agents to go out and become more confident when you serve your clients. And here's the Trustworthy Selling Leaderboard. I want to give a shout out to our top EVCs who have driven adoption in Trustworthy Selling through their hierarchies. Recently, Jamie Villalobos took over the #1 spot. Arla Explores had been there for quite a while, but we have over 6,100 course completions across the sales force, and we're closing in on 4,000 unique agents who have gone through the Trustworthy Selling curriculum. We have a goal to get to at least 10,000 here in the near term. So I'd encourage you and your teams to plug into Trustworthy Selling and make sure that you're taking advantage of this opportunity. And then a huge shout out to Michelle Berry and her team for a phenomenal TFA exchange event back in October. We were out there in Las Vegas. They formed a field committee and got input from the field on how to reshape the meeting and make it more powerful than ever before. And really, from all the leaders I spoke to, felt like it was the best TFA exchange event we have ever had. You see some of the pictures here from that event. But right now is a time where we are ready to grow this broker dealer, right? We talked a lot. We heard great messages from leaders like Tom Matthews on stage talking about getting, focusing on the power and the value of a securities license. We want more agents to go out and get their securities license, make that transition from the fixed side to the variable side. And I truly believe that we can get to 10,000 securities license agents in TFA here in the next couple of years with your commitment to making that happen and serving clients holistically. Of course, we just had the incredible trip to Playa Mujeres to the Altier 5-star all-inclusive resort. Two of our leaders, Landon and Charity, that are speaking on today's webinar, were there with us at this great event. You see some of the photos there, but just an unbelievable property and really an opportunity, given that this was the top 50, really 17 Canada leaders, 34 or 33 leaders in the US, but top 50 leaders really across the entire company at super team, super base, and base level. Over a 3-month contest period coming out of convention ending in September. It was great to honor and recognize these leaders that are among the best of the best across the entire company. Had a great time there, did some recognition, had a little bit of time to do some meeting, talking about strategy for 2026. But it was just great to get all that leadership together as we close out the fourth quarter here. And then we had some other great incentives that wrapped up coming out of convention, including AMS's financial touchdown in New Orleans, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at New Orleans Saints game. Congratulations to all the winners there that partook in that. It was just an all-around great experience in New Orleans. We had a Cajun brunch one morning. We got to go down in the French Quarter, have a nice dinner one night. So it was really a whole weekend of events there, celebrating the success on the annuity side with our top producers for AMS. And then, of course, the SEC Showdown that Wendy Boyd, our Chief Distribution Officer, hosted using her connections there as a big booster at the University of Alabama. They got to do some pretty cool things, man. Go down on the field, tour the stadium, behind the scenes. You see in the top left there, our Transamerica CEO Will Fuller and his wife Katie joined the tailgate. They also got to have lunch on Friday with head coach of Alabama, Kalen DeBoer. So just an incredible experience for those that were able to partake in that and earned the right to be there. There's no school that does it better on game day than Alabama. And I know Wendy loved doing that for you, and I hope we get to do that again in the future. And then Hawaii 2026, of course, this is the last month of the Hawaii incentive. So there's always a ton of movement in the standings. You want to make sure you play through all the way to the finish line. That's always why November is usually a record-breaking month for us, or a big month of production, because we have so many leaders fighting to the finish line. The main trip, of course, February 21st through 26th at the Sheraton Waikiki. The elite phase, February 26th through March 1 at the Ritz-Carlton Turtle Bay. We did just yesterday post updated leaderboards for Hawaii through the end of October. So if you haven't gone out to my WFG to check those out, I'd encourage you to do so. But make sure, again, that you play through to the very end. There will be no room for leaving anything on the field with the qualification period ending November 30th. And then we have officially announced both the dates and locations of both the U.S. and Canadian SMD Academy for 2026. The contest period is actually already started. It's retroactive to November 1. It will be a 4-month contest, November 1st through February 28th. This is for all SMDs promoted this year in 2025. And the criteria to qualify, it's going to be top 50 SMDs in each country. They will also be able to bring their spouses with them. But it's going to be a golf score based on base net points, base recruits, and base cash flow. So if you have any questions on that, let us know. But we'll be posting more information out there on my WFG. For the U.S. event, it'll be at the Westin Chicago Michigan Avenue, April 28th through the 30th. And for Canada, the Hilton Vancouver Metrotown, May 12th through 14th. So if you're confident you're going to be there with us, or even if you're just going to be fighting for it, go ahead and mark your calendars and visualize that success, visualize yourself qualifying, because we want you there with us for sure. And then again, just as a reminder, some current carrier incentives that go through either the end of November, in some cases through the end of the year. Want to make sure you see these, that you're tracking your progress with this. This is all posted out on MyWFG as well, but check these out: Pac Life, Allianz, AMS, Nationwide, Transamerica, various Canada carriers all have different things in play to incentivize you and your teammates to close the year strong. We want to make sure that we're putting as much out there on the table for you as possible. And then just some reminders, as we get to the end of the year, agents will be receiving some 90-day notices of their WFGIA agent renewal agreements prior to the anniversary date of when they originally signed. Please make sure that they don't wait for that to expire. We want them to renew that immediately. And then to help all agents stay in compliance with WFGIA requirements, agents who have not completed their renewals in the allotted period of time will have their access to MyWFG blocked until they go ahead and complete that. And then, of course, in Canada, there's some continuing education credits required. As a reminder, Oliver's is an approved CE provider. We encourage you to use them and visit their website to get the credits you need to make sure you renew in time. Very proud of our partnership with Finseca. Our own president, Todd Buchanan, is, of course, on their board of directors. He will be speaking on one of their upcoming webinars. I encourage you to click this QR code here and register for their webinar series. You'll hear from some of the best and brightest leaders across the financial services industry. And again, we are proud of our partnership with Finseca. It stands for Financial Security for All, very much aligned with them, and look forward now that we are rolling out a Canada option. As you see here, Finseca has a sister organization called Gamma Global that is very much a presence in Canada. So for the first time ever, Canadian S&Ds and above, Canadian agents that want to join Finseca and Gamma Global, we have worked with them to create this specialized membership that gives you access to the best of both worlds on both sides of the border, and also the opportunity to plug into the leadership conferences like LAMP, the Leaders and Managers Program, being held in Nashville, Tennessee, March 22nd through the 24th. You get a discount to join Finseca as a WFG agent. You also get a discount to come to their conferences as a WFG agent. So you can click on those QR codes, and we hope to see you there and have a great group. We had Alicia Wynn speak last year at the LAMP conference. Again, in front of thousands from across the industry. So great to see WFG have a voice in the discussion, have a seat at the table, and be so well represented across this great industry and such a noble profession. With that, I want to bring up the First Lady of WFG, somebody who needs no introduction, the great Susan Davies, and she is going to walk us through some cash flow milestones, some advancements, and exciting things as we celebrate accomplishments across our sales force. Susan, thank you so much for being on with us.
Thanks, Drew, and thank you all for being on here. Now, remember, Hawaii is ending this month, and the numbers do move in November. I've seen it year after year, so don't think you've got it in the bag. Make sure you keep going, because Hawaii, you want to be there, and this one wave this year, so you want to be in Oahu. So make sure you get that done. So I get the privilege of telling you about rings and promotions. And these numbers are amazing. And remember, every one of these numbers represent families whose lives you've changed and people who you have helped. So thank you for doing that. So year to date, we have 1,009 new $50,000 watch earners. 474 people have got the $100,000 ring. 150 new $250,000 ring earners. 54 have hit $500,000. 16 people new at $750,000. 15 new $1 million ring earners year to date. So this is in 10 months. We've had 15 new $1 million ring earners. 6 new people have hit 1.5 million. 5 have hit 2 million. 3 at 3 million. 1 new $6 million earner. 1 new $7 million earner, and 1 new earner who's hit $10 million. So again, congratulations. Now let's look at the people who have hit these the most recent. 250,000. Fanny Bolima, Sarah Dixon, Cruz Garcia, Ephraim Henriquez, Lily Huang, Amber McLean, Rebecca Matthews, Ebubikuwa Anojuja, 250,000. Steel Martins, Anawua Quo, Kara Pulaski, Lourdes Rivera, Casey Salonga, Ku Sheng Shaw, Claudia Ting, Lee Tran, Ajit Wilson, Susan Yi. At 500,000, Shade Awasami, Z Barubi, Tran Nan. Kenya Mondragon has hit 750,000. At 1 million, Pascal Binda, Frank Shu, and Alex Hugh. At 1.5 million, Alex Flores. At $2 million, Kanwar Jog. Congratulations to those newest ring earners. Now for advancements. 598 new SMDs, 72 new EMDs, 24 new CEOMDs, 13 new EVCs, 4 SEVCs, 1 field chairman, and 1 executive chairman. New EMDs: Ali Ahadi, Natalia Seban, Mohammed Gadjeri, Naryan Mahato, Stella Mbengji, and Bella Mikaraji, Swiga Mawakape, Moshen Amrani, Karen Plan, Carol Prairie, Olivia Sula Wang, Raul Thaddeus-Shetty, Amaruchi Ugwu, Moba Wukolo. New CEO MDs: Rakesh Khanna, Clarissa Mahangarwa, Navdeep Sandhu. New EVC: Tim Tran. New SEVC, who you will hear from today, Nima Attar. And brand new field chairman, Zach Rance. So congratulations to all the ring earners and new promotions. We appreciate you. Back to you, Drew.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Susan. There's nothing more enjoyable than celebrating the accomplishments of our sales force and leadership. Guys, as I said, we're in for a huge treat. 3 phenomenal field speakers, 2 in Canada, 1 from the US, all growing and doing big things. And I asked each of them to take 10 to 15 minutes today and share with all of you how they're achieving success, how their teams are growing, and how they plan to close the year strong and build on the momentum that they already have as we charge into 2026. And first up, we're going to have CEO MD Landon Ford, proud member of the World System Builder hierarchy, resides in Vancouver, British Columbia with his wife and kids. He was recruited into WFG at the ripe young age of 19, with no real background in financial services or probably anything else at that age. But through hard work and dedication, phenomenal leadership, he has built a thriving WFG business of 160 licensed advisors. Today, at the still very young age of 37, he now sits at 2.2 million in cash flow, and his team continues to focus on doing what's right for their clients and leveraging holistic financial planning in their practices. So help me give a big virtual WFG update. Welcome to Landon Ford. Landon, thanks for being on with us today, man. Take it away.
Hey, thank you so much, Drew, and welcome everyone. It's great to have you. I remember getting started back when I was 19 years old and had absolutely no clue what life would look like, but it's pretty fantastic. And I really believe the financial industry is the best industry to be in on the planet. And it's so incredible the life that you can create and the people that you can help. Just to start off by really looking how we are winning right now, what we did to win looking back. I definitely wasn't the fastest. And, I think one of the warnings or the things I share with new people is don't compare the results that you're getting to other people's results, but compare the value and the impact that you're bringing to other people. Because sometimes building that foundation of doing it the right way just takes longer. Sometimes the fastest people aren't the ones that last in this business and in this industry. I've seen many people who were much faster than me not do things the right way, and they're no longer here anymore. And you don't want to build a business like those people. One of the secrets to our success would be we do the full comprehensive financial planning. We believe in doing the right thing without compromise every single time. I've never had the vision to build the largest company. I want to build the best company. And I think the fastest approach isn't always the longest lasting. You have to build trust with your clients, trust with the team, and you need to know what you stand for. I believe that we attract and we retain the right people. Not everyone is going to align with your mission and your vision, and that's a good thing. I believe it was John Maxwell that said when you're going to from one destination to another, it's just like driving a bus, and part of that journey is getting the right people on the bus. Also, part of that journey is getting the wrong people off the bus. You're gonna try to help everyone, but there's gonna be few people who are gonna really run with you, and that's okay, right? You can still treat everyone great, but just know that you're not gonna run with everyone. I believe you can build real depth as far as relationships go. If you're thinking long term, that will help you become a better businessman or businesswoman. We get paid. The hardest part of our business is being able to attract the person, whether it's a client or a teammate. Um, so you don't want to screw that up by taking shortcuts. It's much harder to bring on a new client than it is to maintain them. But the value is really measured over time. If you look at purely just the monetary value, it's how long that client sticks with you or how long that teammate sticks with you. And that's helped us. How to close a year off strong, I think that's a great message. I think you should start mapping out right now and really with clarity and specificity, understand what you want 2026 to look like. What are the number of families that you want to educate? What's the income target that you want? What's the size of team that you want? How many vacations do you want to take with your family? What's the time with your family look like next year? Is this a business that you want to be in full time and be able to replace that income so you can be a full-time professional here? And I think it's important to back engineer it and start to put some emotion to those goals. And what would life look like and feel like if you achieve some of those? I think the million-dollar question is, who do you need to become to attain that? There's a lot of people, they chase more money, and I think that's the wrong thing. You need to focus on bringing more value to other people. And how do you bring more value? You need to become more valuable. So one of those business or parts of your business plan is, what are you doing to become more valuable? How are you growing? Are you becoming more educated so you can help people with more financial concepts and strategies, or do a better job doing that? Are you becoming a better articulator so that people can understand? Are you becoming a better leader so that you can help understand people and move them? What would you like Christmas Day to look like? We still have enough time that if you really went to work, the work you do right now, you could taste some of those results by Christmas. So just imagine you close your eyes and you picture yourself sitting around the Christmas tree, kids unwrapping their presents. What's that going to look and feel like if you really went to work and if you went all out and if you threw everything at this and you brought the best of what you have over the next 30 days? You would have a completely different Christmas. Maybe it's a family trip you want to go on or experience, just the presence and connection, not having that financial stress, or just knowing that you closed the year off strong, you went all out, and you set yourself up for an incredible 2026. I think one of the tangible things you can do is sit down and create a schedule. A question that I've always asked myself over my career: is my schedule congruent with the goals that I have? The reality is, a lot of people, they have goals, but their schedule is not congruent with it. And I believe that happiness and peace of mind in your life is when your outside actions are just in alignment with what you really desire. Even the person who works so incredibly hard, but is in alignment with their goals, those people have incredible peace of mind. but you just know when you go to bed at night and you know your schedule you haven't been working on the stuff that you should be working on. You know that you don't sleep as well. Just that little voice in the back of your head, that feeling says, man, I'm not in alignment. So it's important to have a schedule that aligns. And I've always prioritized my business because it takes care of the rest of my life. Of course, with my family, that's the reason I work so hard. But a lot of people are very flexible with their business, and it gives them very little flexibility with what they can do with their finances and with their time. And I've just been very flexible with my family so that I can build a very strong business. So just know, when are the BPMs and the trainings that you're committed to? What's the time that you're going to be in the field? Block those off. When an appointment reschedules or doesn't show up, and that's on a Thursday night, just don't take the Thursday night off and turn on Survivor. I don't know if that's still a show. I don't have cable. And also get aligned with your spouse. If you're really going to throw everything into something, and if you have a big goal, you probably can't do it on your own. If you're in a relationship, you want to make sure that your spouse is on the same page, because then they're going to know how to support you. I believe any business is a family business, and everyone doesn't have the same role, but everyone has an important role. And finally, this is a numbers game. More contacts equal better numbers. And it doesn't matter. In one sense, skill matters a lot less than you think. It's more to do with your intention, because people don't always even understand the most articulate person, but they can feel when you have a great intention. Now, you can do a good job of bringing in the expert. And I believe that's a very powerful part of our system, is bringing in the expert when you need the expert. Because, one of the most dangerous things in the world is an uneducated person with a good intention, running out there, not knowing what the heck they're doing, trying to do a good job, right? So bring in the experts when you need to. But at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. And the person who talks to the most amount of people, educates the most amount of families, you are going to get the most results at the end. And if you want to increase the results that you get, then you have to be able to add more activity. And I mean, this business it's a mindset business. It's the story that you tell yourself. It's the beliefs that you have. But sitting around and trying to change your belief system is a lot harder than going to work. And anytime I've been down, or I've been in a rut, or I just needed something to click, I can always throw in the work and the activity, and I can work my way into a good attitude. But I can't sit there and think my way into a lot of work. So I believe you need to map out that schedule. Every day when you get into the office, you need to know exactly what you're going to work on, your productive activities. You need to learn how to say no to the stuff that's not productive. You can't be sitting around and taking 4 hours to build a financial plan on a Thursday evening when you know that you should be in the field. And a lot of times the difference between someone who just wins at a lot higher level is that person is just less distracted. They put in a lot more energy into the business, and unshockingly, they get better results. So I believe that this is something that you can do. I believe there is zero competition for someone that wants to be a true world-class professional in the financial industry. I believe that most people that join the financial industry do it just to make money. And those people never get to a level of competency enough that can bring so much value to clients. So if you want to be able to separate yourself from everyone else, become a person of value. Treat this like a serious career. Don't treat this like a multi-level marketing business. Don't treat this like a get-rich-quick deal. Don't treat this just like WFG is an ATM machine for you to go and make a whole lot of money. If you're coming in with that attitude, you're probably someone that's going to struggle. And it's a revolving door of people that come in and leave the industry to go to the next hot thing. But this is absolutely the best industry for people that say, I want to become a master of it. And that has nothing to do with ego. That has more to do with a mindset of service, how you can truly serve other people long term, make a great impact. And not only will you be able to help a lot of people personally, but you will be able to recruit, attract, and retain the people that also have that value. And I'll tell you, it's a lot of fun going to work with a team of people like that. And that's what gives me a lot of energy. Being a young guy, I feel like I'm absolutely just getting started, because there's so much work to do, and I'm excited to do it. So appreciate you guys having me on here. Thank you, Drew. Over to you.
Awesome. Hey, thank you, Landon, so much, man. I was taking a ton of notes there. I got to try to read my chicken scratch now, but so many great nuggets there. You know, have a clear picture and a plan for everything, including, I love how you mentioned like time with family, what you want holidays and vacations to look like, right? So it's not just mapping out your schedule, but you also talked about the importance of that, right? It's a numbers game. More activity equals more families helped. So when in doubt, go to work, right? I love that. It's a mindset business. You got to eliminate distractions. So many great things there that I know have helped you get to where you're at today. And I know you'll be at $3 million in the blink of an eye here from 2.2 million. So appreciate your leadership, appreciate all the incredible things that you and your entire hierarchy of leaders are doing right now to serve families and set a great example for others in the business. And thank you for sharing all that with us today. Next, we're going to go to Senior Executive Vice Chairman Charity Ano. And Charity and her husband Timmy were actually with us in Cancun for the President's Challenge. Give you a quick little backdrop on her bio. She is a proud immigrant from Cameroon, Central Africa, who has learned the value of resilience, hard work, and determination. She is a registered nurse by trade, so she's always found it natural to help and serve others, which fits in perfectly, of course, with WFG. Today, she is honored to be a successful entrepreneur, a wife, a mother of 3 beautiful children, and as a top leader in WFG, she has achieved some remarkable milestones, including being a $1.8 million earner. And in addition to herself being an SEVC, she has an EVC and a $1 million earner in her hierarchy. She's very proud of the incredible team of leaders that she's built, which includes 51 SMDs, multiple $500,000, $250,000, and $100,000 earners across her hierarchy. Her passion is all about empowering others to achieve financial freedom and live their best lives. And she is committed to sharing her knowledge, experience, and expertise to help others succeed and do just that. So without further ado, another incredible up-and-coming explosive leader out of the Daniel and Linda Fombo hierarchy, but making a name for herself in very short time here. Charity, thank you so much for being on with us today, and I'll turn it over to you to take it away.
Thank you so much, Drew. And I really want to say thank you to Landon. That was an amazing talk right there. Landon, thank you so much for pouring into us today. So excited that you're part of this panel. And good afternoon, WFG family. I came to you today not just as an SABC, but as a woman whose entire life was transformed because someone cared enough to introduce me to this crusade. And before I start speaking a single word, I want to say thank you to everyone on this call. Thank you for your fight. Thank you for your resilience. Thank you for refusing to give up on this company, on this mission, on yourself. Thank you. Now, before I activate you, before I challenge you, before I push you into the strongest finish of WFG 2025, I want to share a piece of my story, because everything I'm about to teach you today, it comes from where I come from. Some of you know me, some of you know my journey, but many of you don't. And I always like to take a few minutes to talk about it, because my story is the reason most people have come to join my hierarchy. But it doesn't matter where it comes from, but because God alone did what he did. If God can do it for me, he can do it for anybody on the Zoom. I came to America in 2009 with a suitcase, with a dream, with a prayer, no network, no safe net, just faith. I worked as a caregiver, taking care of strangers, changing diapers, cleaning the floors. But each time I whispered to myself in tears, Charity, one day your life will change. But I wanted more. I wanted purpose. So I went to nursing school. 4 years of sacrifice. 4 years of early mornings and late nights. 4 years of missing moments for my children, my family, believing that it will be worth it. But when I finally became an RN, my first month, my paycheck was just $3,500. I looked at that check and said, God, after all this time, after all this sacrifice, bills were still choking me. Stress was still following me. Dreams still shrinking. And I prayed, Lord, give me a platform where I can help my people, where I can help my life. And when WFG came, I almost missed it. I said what most people did. I said what most people are saying, and I did what most people are doing. And today I want to talk to you about finishing strong. What did I do different? What are we doing different? In the beginning, I didn't have time for this opportunity. I was doing 2 jobs. I was doing other things. I thought it was not real. And that's where we would make the mistakes. The mistake where we have WFG on our right hand and our job on the left hand. As a matter of fact, we have job on the right hand, another job on the left hand, and WFG on our left leg. And then we trample on it. But destiny does not wait for convenience. Destiny waits for decision. One night I told myself, if I'm going to struggle, it will be to build my dream, not some other person's dream. Whose dream are you building right now as you listen to me today? Are you building your dream or are you building some other person's dream? That decision changed my life. WFG became a platform I prayed for, a mission to protect families, a system that builds leaders, a team that believed in me before I even believed in myself. My very first year when I made up my mind to do WFG, after running around like a chicken whose head's been cut off for 7 months, January of 2020, I decided to take WFG serious. And that January of 2020, 12 months later, I made about $83,000 per time, still working as a nurse. That's when I started understanding that when you work for yourself, you pay you more. From caregiving to changing lives, from fear to financial freedom, from surviving to leading, from whispers to a calling. Let me tell you this. If God could take a caregiver with a suitcase and turn her into an SEVC in the WFG, then nothing about your past can disqualify your future. It doesn't matter how weak you are. It doesn't matter how incapable you think you are. But the problem we face most of the time is we pray for a prayer and then we declare something else. Our prayers are going south. Our declarations are going north. When you pray for breakthrough and you verbalize, I'm not good enough. When you pray and ask that you want to have more people, you want to talk to more people, you want to have a big team, and then you turn around and say, people don't listen to me. I am not good enough. We pray and then we disqualify our prayers. Now let's talk momentum. What did I do different? What did we do in 2025 that we kept moving? One of the things that I've learned from my leaders is that we have to keep the grind. We always look at ourselves as we're still training associates. You know why? Because in the beginning, it's all about the mission, not about the commission. Because if you follow the commission and you don't see it, you quit. But if you follow the mission until the mission is accomplished, you don't leave. So for us, we follow the mission because there's so many lives out there that need help. One of the things that we do is that we show up. Here's the thing though, your team will only copy what you do and not what you say. I show up to my office at 8 a.m. in the morning. I'm an SEVC. I run the base shop. So my leaders know how to run the base shop because they see me run the base shop. Sometimes we allow our title get into the way of our growth. We still have to run this base shop. You know why? Because your base shop is where your leaders are being born. I was born from a base shop. If I'm expected to have another SEVC like myself, I have to keep running a base shop. If I quit now and just feel free and become complacent, my leaders will copy exactly without even realizing that they're just SMDs or EMDs or EVCs. They're not yet SEVCs. So I watched my leader, Daniel, do it, and I copy what he does. Another thing that we did that kept us going is because we schedule. I have a calendar that schedules my calendar. My calendar is my boss. I say it all the time. If it is not scheduled, it doesn't get done. Period. If you cannot tell me, a Charity, I need you to be here. If it was not on my schedule, it's not happening. It doesn't matter if there is spare time. Every time is money. I always tell people that we have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Your 24 hours is your currency. How are you spending it? Are you wasting it on Netflix? Are you wasting it on distraction? London talked about distraction. Those distractions are what is stealing away from your success. That's what is stealing away from your momentum. We have less than 2 months to finish 2025. You have to keep aside every distraction. I tell you this, there's an addiction called social media. Sometimes you find yourself in it. You don't know when you've been in reels and then reality and then reels and then how to call them, and then you are lost. For hours, you've been gone. You're watching so many things, you get distracted, all of these things. I tell you, distraction does not work together with success. When you combine that to allergic reaction takes place. You gotta have to cut out all distractions to finish this year strong. Another thing that we did is that we make sure that we go for appointments. I still go for appointments. I'm an SCVC. I go, I travel. I do presentations. I do big events. I organize events. I go out and train my agents one-on-one. I train my licensed agents. I fly out of state to meet the one-on-one to train them in person. You gotta have to do some of these things. You gotta have to sacrifice to build a big business. We are on a mission. There are so many families out there that need our help. Guys, let's take a little talk about momentum here. I'm not here to motivate or hype you though. I'm here to activate something inside of you. I'm here to wake you up. The part of you that remembers why you joined WFG. I'm here to remind you that your future is still wide open, but it won't take time forever to wait for you. Because here's the truth. 2025 is not over yet. It is unwritten, and you still hold the pen to write it. It is not over. And I want you to write the kind of ending that makes your future self proud. I'm going to give you some momentum topics here. Point number 1, momentum starts with decision, not a feeling. That's what we do. Most people wait for motivation. Champions act their way into motivation. You don't finish strong because you feel strong, but you finish strong because you decide to. I've built teams when I was tired. I've closed businesses with tears in my eyes. I've encouraged others on days when I couldn't even encourage myself. But God didn't bless my feelings. He blessed my decisions. You want momentum? Stop waiting. Stop overthinking it. Stop needing perfect day. It's never going to come. You're not going to decide that you're going to go out driving, wait until all the lights on the street are green. You never leave your house. You got to make that decision. Point number 2, momentum requires work, but not the kind you think. Momentum isn't about big weeks. It's about the right small habits done consistently. Here are 3 momentum-driven drivers that you need to have to start your day today to finish 2025 strong. 10 new conversations a day. I didn't say go and talk to 100 people. I said talk to 10 new people a day. Number 2, 3 invitations a day. Stop worrying about who says no. Just invite. And number 3, 1 new policy a week. I tell you, just 1 new policy a week. Momentum is not magic. It is maths. And if every single agent in WFG does 1 new week, one new policy a week, guess what's going to happen? By December 31st, WFG is going to go into explosion. I want us to think about those little things that we can do to finish this year strong. Number 3, momentum comes from energy, which is your energy. People don't follow products. They don't follow compliance. They follow energy. I tell you, I have fire inside of me. When I start talking, I just don't know how to calm down. Your belief becomes your business. Your energy becomes your team's energy. If you want a team on fire, you must be on fire. You cannot be on coal and then expect fire to happen. You got to be on fire. Number 4, momentum demands urgency. Urgency, we got to hurry, guys. We don't have time. I was telling my team the other day that I have a milestone to hit. I have a milestone for everybody here to hit. But we will not get out of 2025 until we finish it. If you get into 2026, you don't see me in 2020. If you get to 2026, you don't see me in 2026. You want to know that charity is still in 2025. Try to pull everything out into 2026. All right? So momentum demands urgency. We are not in the financial service business. We are in the life-changing, crisis-preventing, and legacy-saving business. You know why? Because families are hurting out there right now. People are unprotected now. Life is punching people in the face right now. And you are placed in their path on an assignment. Don't procrastinate your assignment. You are not there by accident. You are not there by coincidence. You are there by design direction. Number 5, momentum is transferable, but only from leaders rising. Your team doesn't duplicate what you want. They duplicate what you are. So what are you? I want you to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself that, could you follow the leader you're looking at right now? Are you who you truly want to be? Are you doing what you truly have to do? Are you honest to yourself that you got to be doing the things you're doing, and you're honest to say that you're doing the things? If you become consistent, you will duplicate consistency. If you become focused, you duplicate focus. If you become unstoppable, your team becomes unstoppable. Your next explosion of growth is waiting on you. It's waiting on your elevation, not on your frustration. It's about time we start speaking positive into our life than speaking the negative talks we've been talking. It's about time we stop it. Momentum requires a new standard. Listen, guys, last year's habit cannot build this year's breakthrough. You have to raise your standard. You have to raise your expectations. You have to raise your voice. You got to raise your goals. When you raise your standard, you raise your result. You got to raise those things. Enough of not being good enough. You are perfectly made. You are not in WFG by accident. You are here by design. Don't allow anyone to steal that away from you. Don't allow anyone to pour their unbelief into you. You are here by God's chosen assignment. Number 7, momentum is emotional. Let me hit your heart here. Imagine it's December 31st, 2025. Your kids are around you. Your home is peaceful. Your business is growing. Your confidence is overflowing. And you whisper to yourself, dang, my goodness, this was the year I finally stopped playing small. Imagine that. On the other hand, this can be your story, right? It could be your story. Or it can be another year of almost. There's an African proverb that says, almost cannot shoot a bird. Right? Almost is not done. There's no that almost. Well, I almost did it. I should have done more. I should have. Regrets. So family, guess what? Not in this company. Not in this opportunity. Not in WFG. We are winners. We are champions. The company is giving us the opportunity. If so many people are winning, just look at all the milestones that Susan was reading. If all these achievements are happening, the company is getting better and better. No matter all the turbulence, but we're still standing. No matter all the tribulations, we are still standing. And we are still here. It means that we are going places. It means that our mission of no family left behind is still out there. We have 95% of Americans struggling every single time. They need our help. And that's what drives my team, the community that we serve. So I want to say my final one in closing here. I want you to say this with me as a wrap-up. I will finish 2025 strong. 2025 is not over. My story is not finished. My momentum starts now. There is fire on this Zoom tonight, this afternoon. There is purpose in your life. There is greatness in your future. Momentum will happen today. So for the rest of 2025, move with urgency, move with intention, move with power, move with faith, guys. Move like a leader whose time has come, because it has. I love you. I believe in you. Now let's finish 2025 strong, and let's set 2026 on fire. Let's go, WFG. Thank you, Drew.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much, Charity. That was incredible. Appreciate you being on and sharing with the team and just pouring into our sales leaders today. What an inspiring story. I've got so many notes here, but some of the things that I loved were momentum demands urgency. You talked about destiny does not wait for you, right? Whose dreams are you building? God can do anything. Your team copies not what you do, or copies what you do, not what you say. So lead by example. You talked about the importance of cutting out distractions like Netflix, social media. The calendar is your boss, maximizing every hour of every day. Momentum is habits, not magic. I got some top threes here. 10 new conversations a day, 3 invitations per day, 1 new policy sold per week. People follow energy. You certainly have a ton of it. It's easy to see why you're such an incredible leader, Charity, and why so many people have joined your hierarchy and continue to do so. So thank you for being on with us today and pouring into the team here. And to close this out, we have the newest Senior Executive Vice Chairman in WFG. Nima Attar joined the business in 2018 at the ripe young age of 23, became a $1 million earner with WFG in less than 6 years at the young age of 28. So he just clicked over 1.5 million a few weeks ago, but he's already at 1.6 million. So I think I sent him a card to recognize 1.5. It was probably already out of date by the time it got to his house. But officially the newest Senior Executive Vice Chairman. And as best as I can see from our records, the youngest and fastest ever to SEVC. He and his upline, Dave Bashiri, by the way, share the honor of being the best dressed gentleman anywhere in WFG, which is probably why they both have very beautiful significant others. So with that, Nima, I'm going to turn it over to you to close this out and take us away, my man.
Thank you so much, Drew. Appreciate your introduction. Thank you, WFG, for hosting this call so we can all benefit from. Thank you, Landon and Charity. Amazing talks. I took a lot of notes. I love learning. I love learning from other great leaders as well. And thank you for sharing your wisdom and experience. And more importantly, thank you to all of you that are on this call today. I think one of the biggest mistakes that we make as people is we constantly look for reasons why we're not good enough, and we don't do a good enough job of looking for reasons why we are. And the fact that you're all here today, the fact that you're listening to me, the fact that you took the time away from other things you could have done to improve, to grow, to learn, that's why you deserve to win. That's why I love what I do. I love to pour into other winners, and all of you are winners. So give yourself a nice pat on the back and thank yourself for being here, because if you weren't here, you wouldn't get the benefits from it. So I just want to start off with that, because I believe gratitude is the most important thing that we all need to consistently and constantly have. Now, let's go into today's topic. So we're going to talk about building momentum and taking your business and life to the next level. And I love this topic because my success and my business is a result of momentum. Same with everyone else in this call. See, one of the things that a lot of people don't necessarily tune into sometimes is that this is a business of emotion, not logic. When you're dealing with people, when you're working with people, emotion creates action. Emotion creates decision. This is not a logical or mathematical business. A logical or mathematical business does not create exponential growth. It does not bring momentum. Momentum and exponential growth comes from emotion. So when we're talking about this topic, you have to go into the intangibles. A lot of people, they listen to these conversations and they go, just tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do. Your leaders are doing a phenomenal job of telling you what to do. You all have amazing systems that you're following. How to is not the issue. If how to was the issue, then every single one of us would have a six-pack, because we all know how to be fit. We know how to be healthy. We know how to have the perfect body that we want to have. The information is everywhere. What's missing? The behavior and the actions that lead to that results. So it's not a matter of how, it's not a matter of logic, it's a matter of emotion that leads to the behavior and the action. So here's the first thing I want to start off with. You have to go for what you want. The biggest pandemic that is plaguing humanity is we go after what we think we can have, not what we want. But if every human being only ever went after what they thought they could have, we'd still be living in caves. We wouldn't have any technology. We wouldn't have any growth. The world is run by people who believed in having a better future, who believe that things could be better, who believe that things can be done more effectively. So you got to go for what you want, not what you can, what you think you can have. If you go for what you think you can have, well, our memory is usually plagued with failure. I know mine was. When I came into this business failing at everything that I touched. So if I was going to go based on my memory to create my future, well, my future wasn't much. But I chose to imagine a better future. I chose to go for what I want. Here's why. I realized at a young age, we only got one shot at this thing. I believe in God. I believe hopefully there's better things to come. But as far as I know, I only got one shot at this life, the way that I am and the way that it's created. So why would I settle for something that is not made of me? I would rather fight my whole life going for what I want and fail, but knowing that I gave it everything that I have, than settle for something that is not made of me to avoid disappointments. Because that's the number one reason why people don't go for it. The number one reason why people don't aim high, why people don't go for more, is because they want to avoid feeling disappointed. But for me, I would rather be disappointed my whole life, but fight for my dreams than to settle for something that is not made of me and feel good about it until the day I die, where the regret comes from me. But you got to go for what you want. And when you look at my story of the business, it's a story of somebody going for what they want. I came into this at 2018 when I was 23 years old. Like I said, I had failed at everything I touched coming into this. So I didn't have a, success background. And I came into this and I went for it. And in the first 6 months, part-time, I hit 50K. In the first year, by August of 2019, I hit my 100K ring as an MD, but then I stagnated for a little bit. And in 2020, May of 2020, I got my SMD promotion. Now, when I was 19, I read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and I chose to believe in it. So I wrote down my goals. I wrote down what I wanted. And the goal that I wrote down at the age of 19 was I wanted to make $85,000 a month by the time I was 27, because based on what I mapped out, that was going to give me the lifestyle that I wanted. But here I am, May of 2020. I just got my SMD promotion and I was a minimum qualified SMD. For those of you that might remember, during COVID, they brought down the SMD qualifications. So you could qualify with 7 licensed agents, 60,000 points for only 3 months. And I qualified bare minimum SMD at that time. And I'm sitting there and I got a base shop that has 3 licensed agents and 0 MDs because I had just become SMD and given away my replacement leg. And I'm making around 10K a month. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, man, I said I'm going to make 85K a month by the time I was 27. A year from then, I was going to be 27. May of 2021, I would have been 27. And I asked myself a question. I said, how the hell am I going to make this happen? How the hell am I going to 10x my income in the next year? And immediately, I got flooded by excuses and limiting beliefs. And in the midst of all those excuses, in the midst of all those limiting beliefs, I stopped and I asked myself a question. If somebody put a gun to my head and said, you have to make $50,000 this month or you're going to die, would I find a way to make it happen or would I die? And I genuinely sat with that question in the boardroom of our office in May of 2020. And here was my problem. I believed I was already doing everything that I could. I believed I was already working around the clock. I was already running a lot of meetings, just like many of you. I was already giving this thing everything I had, making the sacrifices. So in my mind, I thought there's no way I could do anything else. But as I asked myself that question, something clicked. All of a sudden, new ideas came. All of a sudden, new ways of doing things better came. All of a sudden, it's like I went from a non-believer to a believer. And I made a decision right there that for the next 12 months, I'm going to give this thing everything that I have, and I'm going to make my dreams come true. And guess what? It didn't even take 12 months. Within 6 months of me having that conversation with myself, I went from making 10K a month to making 70K a month. In 1 month before my 27th birthday, April of 2021, I made $96,000 in 1 month. So my goal was to make $85K a month by the time I was 27. I made $96K 1 month before I turned 27. In my first year as an SMD, I went from a bare minimum qualified SMD that had a base shop of 3 licensed agents, no MDs. My base shop production, the 12-month rolling leading up to that, was 250,000 points. I went from that to having a 2 million point base shop my first year as an SMD. Ever since I've been SMD in the last, now going into this year, it's going to be the 6th year. But in the last 6 years that I've been SMD, I qualified for Hawaii every year. I qualified 4 times for elites. This is going to be the 4th year that I'm qualifying elites, and I'm qualifying base shop and super base elite Hawaii this year. And again, I'm not saying this to show off. I'm saying this for you to understand that it doesn't matter where you come from. Anything is possible if you make a decision to go for it. Now, the question becomes, why don't people make the decision? Well, one of the major reasons, especially for people like you listening to me right now, the winners, the ones that are working hard, the ones that are sacrificing, is that you sit there and you go, man, it took me so long to get to 100K. It took me so long to get to 200K. I worked so hard to it. You're thinking that thought. And you think, in order for me to hit $1 million a year, I got to work 10 times harder. Why do we think that? Because we all come from an employee mindset. We are all programmed to think like employees because everyone around us, usually the majority of people around us were employees. So we think if I'm going to go from making 10K a month to 100K a month, I got to work 10 times harder. So you sit there and go, how the hell am I supposed to work 10 times harder? I have a family, I have kids, I'm already working as hard as I can. So it stops you. But the key to success isn't putting in more time. Only employees make more money by giving more time. So yes, if you're an employee, the only way you can 10x your income is if you 10x the time you're giving to your job. But as entrepreneurs, you don't get paid for time, you get paid for results. So the formula for success as an entrepreneur is you have to outwork. Yes, that gets you the ticket into the arena, and all of you are outworking right now. But you also have to out-improve, out-strategize, and outlast. Out-improve speaks for itself. You got to constantly get better at what you do. You got to constantly improve it. Landon Ford was talking about doing it right. I 100% agree with that. In fact, one of the reasons why we're having the success that we do is because of the systems that we have. And our system is totally based on giving the client the most education. We sit down with the client 5 to 6 times before we close them on anything, one-on-one, 5 to 6 times, just to educate them before we even offer them anything. But that's also why my NPR, our team's NPR is 94%. And Dave is known for having a high NPR in his hierarchy, and I've duplicated that. But a high NPR is a result of doing the right things for the client. But when it comes to growing your business, when it comes to building a massive business, you got to think of it like this. If we're doing the right things, which all of us are, if we're providing the best value for clients, which all of us are, then our number one job is to get as many licensed agents out there as possible to keep doing the right things for the consumer. The only way to defeat evil is to have more good. So if there's other companies, other candy companies doing BS and hurting the consumer, and we're the one company that's doing it right, that's doing it with the most value, that's doing it with the education in mind, then we got to get the most licensed agents to get there. So it's our duty to go grow bigger. Because it's easy for you to sit there and go, well, all I need is $100,000 a year to pay my bills. All I need is $250K to pay my bills. I get it. I totally get that mindset. But if it's always going to be about you, then it's never going to lead to a happy life. Because happiness comes from growing, yes, but it comes more from helping others. So sure, $250K is enough for you. But what about your team? How many of them want to make $250K just like you? So it's our duty to grow, to aim for 10x, to aim for more, so we can help the consumers out there by providing more licensed agents in a platform like this. So if anyone is sitting there and go, well, what's the point? The point is to make the world better than we found it. The point is to leave this place better than we found it. That's the point. The point is to help others win. It's not just about us winning, it's about helping other people win. In 2023, I made a decision to stop taking on clients. If I kept taking on clients, my cash flow might have been close to 2.53 million. But I made a decision to stop taking clients because I wanted to pour more into my team and because I wanted them to make 250K, 500K, a million. And maybe it slowed my cash flow down for a little bit. But guess what? It exponentially grew our business because we had more licensed agents, more recruiting, more everything. So remember, in order to go to the next level, work ethic is not enough. Work ethic can be a distraction. You got to also improve. You got to also have better strategies. You got to have better ways of helping the consumer out there and helping your team members grow. And you have to outlast. What do I mean by outlast? Because you're sitting here, you go, Nima, I'm already here. What do you mean by outlast? I'm talking about you got to outlast all the tests that you will be given once you make the decision. Because then it's not enough to just make a decision and go, I'm going to go for it. After you make a decision, you got to work to keep the decision, because every single day after you make a life-changing decision, God will test you to see if you're for real. You're going to get tested by failure. You're going to get tested by distractions. You're going to get tested by complacency. And the tests are not to keep you from growing. The tests are to give you what you need to go to the next level. Because anyone can sit there and go, oh, I'm going to make all the millions. I'm going to change the world. I'm going to be the big player, the big guy. Anyone can talk the big game. But who can actually outlast all the things that come after? Because as soon as you start talking shit, guess what? You're going to get tested. And the tests are going to come in only 3 forms: failure, complacency, and distractions. And every single day, you have to keep that decision alive. You have to outlast the failure to keep the enthusiasm, to keep moving forward. Swan said it best. In order to recruit, you have to set yourself on fire with enthusiasm. And when people come watch you burn, recruit them. Recruiting is an art of emotion. Recruiting is an art of selling the dream. It's not a logical thing. So you have to outlast all the things that try to take away your excitement, all the things that take away your enthusiasm. I tell this to my team all the time. Your number one job is to keep yourself motivated. Your number one job is to keep your urgency high, because momentum starts from the leader. Everything you want your team, you have to embody it 10 times more until you attract those kind of people. You got to be the most motivated. You got to be the most committed. You got to be the most fired up. You got to be on it. And when you do that, eventually you attract people who want to run with you. Eventually, some of the people in your team who weren't running start to run. But your number one job as a boss, you're the boss and you're the employee as the business owner. Your number one job is to keep yourself motivated and fired up. Your job isn't to keep other people motivated. Your job is to keep yourself motivated. And when you light yourself on fire with enthusiasm, people will come watch you burn. And when they do, you recruit them and you build them. That's the name of the game. And here's the one last thing I want to leave you with. Don't ever make excuses for other people's success. Our job is to sell ourselves the dream. We always talk about sell the dream, sell the dream. The number one person that needs to be sold the dream every day is us. The number one person that needs to buy the dream every day is us. Never make an excuse for somebody else's growth and success, ever. And you hear the rumors and the BS all around these different places where insecure leaders try to justify their lack of results, their lack of success to their team members by making up. So, oh, that team is growing because they have this thing going. That team is growing because they have that going. You cannot duplicate what you do not respect and appreciate. You have to respect it and appreciate it to duplicate it. During the time when I was coming up and I was creating that momentum and I was hitting big numbers, there was other people that were coming up that weren't doing the right things. Now, we didn't know it at the time. But I remember I was in Dave's office one time and we were looking at the numbers around this time, by the way, during Hawaii. And he's like, man, there's these people coming up. I don't know who they are. I have a suspicion that they might not be doing the right thing. And I said, Dave, you might be right. But I'm going to choose to believe that they are. Because I'm going to let their growth inspire me to grow faster. And I'm going to do it right. So I'm going to last when they get taken out. So if you're in a game and you're playing against somebody and you believe they're cheating, you might be right, but it doesn't benefit you to believe that, because now you're not going to get the inspiration. Look, if they're cheating, the refs will catch them eventually and they'll get terminated and then they'll lose the license and they'll get taken out of the game like those people did. That's a natural consequence. It's not your job to catch cheaters. Your job is to sell the dream to yourself and to everyone that's following you, and let it inspire you to grow faster. And as long as you do it right with the right foundation, your growth will not only last, but it will continue to give value to the marketplace. And look, we're going into December right now. December is what I call the separation season. When we talk about out-improve, outlast, and out-strategize, part of your strategy should be taking everything you can in December. Because in December, the marketplace gets emptied out of people that provide value, but it's still filled with people that need value. Meaning the advisors, the agents, the licensed ones, they start to take vacations. They start to go into Santa Claus mode. As a strategic business owner, you take that opportunity and go, look, my competitor is going to Santa Claus mode. My competitor is focusing on the stuff that's not going to grow themselves and their business. I'm going to take all the market share. And by the time your competition comes back in January, they're coming back to a place where you've taken everything. You got the recruits they could have gotten in December. You got the clients they could have. So December is a separation season. Summertime is a separation season. It's not a time for vacation. It's a time to separate yourself from the competition. And the way that WFG is built, you can be in vacation mode for the rest of your life once you build this thing to the level you want to go to. Hell, we go on so many trips that we don't know how to manage the trips anymore. I was so excited to go to Mexico from November 10th to 13th for the President's Challenge. I just couldn't fit it in my schedule. Like we're at a point where we can't even fit 3 vacations into our schedule. That's how good this platform is. So if your concern is lifestyle, don't worry, the lifestyle will be there. But you got to create the foundation to make the lifestyle viable. And the foundation is created in separation season, in December, in the summer. So look, if you're listening to me, go, you know what, man, I'm more interested in Santa Claus season than I am in building a life and giving value. Okay, no problem. Take December off. But when you come back, you're going to be behind on the leaderboards. But for me, I want to be Santa Claus. I don't want to benefit from Santa Claus. And the only way you can become Santa Claus is if you do the things that other people don't, and then you can give gifts to the world for the rest of your life. That's it for me. Thank you, everyone. Let's crush it. I'm fired up.
Awesome. Unbelievable, Nima. Thank you so much for pouring in. I got tons of notes here. But, I think you said it everything, right? Momentum comes from emotion. This is not a business of math or logic, but emotion. Emotion dictates behaviors. Behaviors lead to your actions. Go after what you want, not what you think you can have. Believe in a better future. All of us will be tested by failure, distractions, complacency. Would you rather go for it and fail than settle? Don't fear disappointment, fear regret. Let's leave the world better than we find it. Work ethic is not enough. Improve your skills, have a strategy, and be willing to outlast others. Thank you so much for being on with us today. All of our field speakers pouring into everybody. Let's close out November strong. Let's close out the fourth quarter strong and charge into 2026 to make WFG the best possible version it possibly can be. I'm proud to be your teammate. Thank you guys for being on with us today. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.